back to the Off-Grid family. Right, today we're going to be exploring and dissecting a couple of mobility scooters. For the last about year, my mobility's been getting worse, and I've been looking for a mobility scooter for when it gets really bad. And I found it really hard to find one that I could afford. You know, you got a few £1,000s, you can get one with all the bells and whistles, etc. So I found one that was broken and it was in a real bad way. I still had to pay quite a bit of money for it. Apparently these things are still expensive even when they're absolutely destroyed. But I've done a video on that, which you'll be able to see somewhere there. And so that went okay. There was a few, minor and major things. But as I say, I looked for about a year and I just couldn't find any. And then I found this one that I started to fix up, and then this happened. That's the one I've been fixing for me. And then these two arrived. They are in a bad state. The batteries are knackered. They've been left out in the rain for God knows how long. So I'm going to strip them of what I can use. Unfortunately, all of the seating's knackered. There's no keys with them, and just various bits and bobs. But there'll be stuff I can salvage, and then there's stuff I can't salvage. If I can get parts from one and put it in another and get one to work, then that's what I'll do. Otherwise, we'll just get the parts out we can use it for salvage, and we'll make some nice things out of it in the future. Right, we'll take a look at this one first. This sort of bits on it doesn't look too bad. It's been well protected, obviously. None of this have. But some of the electronics in here might still work. So we'll have a look into that. I want the motors, the wheels, and I'm thinking about keeping the chassis of them all to make into something else when we finally get to our forever home kind of styly. But I'm not sure. But first off, I'm going to get rid of the seat and separate it all out, I think. Right, next then we can have a look at removing the back section. That's where the motor is and the batteries. Right, so that's the battery section off. And I'm not sure whether it was stored with the battery section off or not, but there's a lot of rust here and on the actual contacts where the actual batteries would connect. But I need to try and separate these two things now if I can. Yeah, it's raining. There's a lot of water in this. That's how much water just came off. Right, so this is the back end of the first one, and we're gonna get the batteries out and give them a test. I won't be doing any charging of batteries and trying to recover them on this video, but I will get them out and see what they look like physically. They've got bits of garden twine on them to allow for taking them out, and then there's a spare doohickey in. Let's just test it, see what the battery's like. Knackered. And completely knackered. So I don't think either of them are going to work at all, but I will still try and get them working, but that's in another video. I'm not going to do that today. Right, after a lot of beating up and so on, I got that other battery out, so I'm going to remove all the electronics because I want to keep all of it and reuse it. Okay, that is completely and utterly stripped of everything that I can use, except what's that falling around? Something that's completely disappeared. Very unusual. But anyway, yeah, completely unusable now, so that can go to the tip. Hopefully they can recycle it, but I don't know what it's made of. Right, I'd like to get this bit discarded now because this is leaking water everywhere. So that's that piece off, and we'll take this apart too soon. Another piece of stuff to go to the tip. I don't like chucking this much stuff away, but I've got nothing I can do with it. It's all damaged, it's all broken. There's only so much you can sort of recycle. As in, so much I can recycle, I mean. Cool, that's actually really smooth. I'm going to keep all of that, and I'm going to keep it as is because I can use that. A little bit of grinding and protecting, maybe a bit of welding, but that's all usable. Right, that's the bit we just took all apart. And then this is the part with the motor on. I'm not going to take anything else apart because this is genuinely so smooth still that we might actually be able to make that into something functional as is. I'm not sure though. I'll have a look at the next one and we'll go from there, because that would make a really cool little go-kart for the kids. Okay, so this one's battery's already off, so I can just put that on the desk. I'm going to take the seat off first, and then I'm going to separate it. I believe it separates about there. And we'll see what we can scavenge from this one. Okay, that's already looking a little better. Right, I've done a little looking at this, and there's obvious dirt and rust and so on, but I might actually be able to get this going. And if I can, then I'm not going to just break it down for parts if I can make it for someone, you know, who needs it. So I will see about fixing this up, and let's see if we can get it working. Right, well, I just tried to charge the battery, and nothing's happening, so let's have a look inside the battery first. Ooh, they're a bit battered, aren't they? Can you guys see how rusty they are? Ironically enough, all the actual connections are okay, it's just the tops of the screws which are knackered. Let's have a look. Ooh, that's never good. Someone's tried to fix this battery. Yeah, someone's tried to fix this. Okay, that one's got 6 volts. That one's got 5. So I'm happy to say I don't think they're working. I can swap them out for new batteries and see if that will work. This is the you know, the steering wheel and the electronics, and so I'm going to take this apart and see if we can override the key. Right, that is the key. I couldn't remember the word, obviously, and I'm just going to bypass it. I'm just going to put a wire there and see what happens. Now obviously you don't need crocodile clips this long, but I'm just doing that just so I know for a fact it's definitely plugged in, and if that's not working then I can have a look to see what else is. But all the electronics inside there look relatively dry. Obviously I probably need to change the potentiometer a little bit, which is the speed, but everything else looks okay. Right, what we're hoping to see is some lights come on, but I assume this one's going to come on. So let's slide the battery in. Oh, and there's another one there too. Awesome. So okay, let's switch the motor on. Got nothing from that. Nothing. Get a bit of okay, so next I need to have a look at the motor. Right, I did a few tests off camera just to make sure that it wasn't something human error-y that had caused it to stop working, but I couldn't get it to work. So I'm going to see. I think this takes off the case. Okay, so we're at this point now. Let's take off all of this. Oops. Put that back on in a minute. If you're ever going to take apart something like this and there's multiple things that you might be able to get wrong, there isn't much on this one, to be honest. But I always take a photo, just to make sure you know exactly where everything was. And now you don't have to worry about remembering, hopefully. Okay, so we're looking here. Let's have a look. It's got a special screw on this, which is a pain in the butt. Let me show you. But I think I've got the right head for it. Damn it. I'm not going to be able to look in there. That's annoying. I hate when I can't get into something. There's a little bit of rust on the terminals, so I'll just scrape that off. It may do something, it may not. You can see if me fiddling about with anything worked at all. It may not have, it may have. Sometimes you find that just taking something apart and putting it back together, you know, loosens something that was too tight or tightens something that was too loose. Cleans something, you know, you just don't know now. Right, well, I'm not going to screw this back in yet, because if I can't get it to work, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I can get it to work, but I'm not sure how long I want to spend doing it. My time is very valuable now. The days when I can do these things are getting less and less, you know. Right, I'm just going to put it all back together and we'll see if we've made any difference. Now, as I say, a couple of the contacts were a little bit rusty, so that might have helped, but I don't know. The light's on, so let's see if it actually goes back and forward, etc. In fact, turn it down. Nothing, and the light's just gone off as well. So there's short circuits everywhere. Okay. Hang on. Okay, 3, 2, 1. It's working. Right, let's turn that up. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's a nippy little bugger, isn't it? Okay. Right, I've managed to fix it, and it was just a problem with one of the cables to the motor and then one of the cables to the positive. And it works quite well. Okay, so we got one mobility scooter up and running, and the irony of that statement is not lost on me. And then we've got one that we can use different parts for different things. Most importantly, the motor for a wind turbine. I'm really looking forward to that. I love making turbines. I think very early on I started doing them in the channel. I haven't done anything like that since. But I've got a few projects I need to do first, and the weather needs to get a little bit better before I can go outside. But thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye.